Georgina, I will ask, my first question is to you. We just heard about Tony talking about the food vision around Paris 2024. Can you tell us and remind to the audience what are the main commitments at Paris 2024 and how food is a strategic pillar of it?
Thank you, and thanks for the invitation to share some things today. Tony was mentioning some of them. Basically, environmental excellency, sustainability is at the heart. It was on the DNA of Paris 2024. So we set a series of objectives that are quite challenging, really. The first games aligned with the Paris Agreement, for example. So that means reducing emissions by 50% and then offsetting everything that couldn't be avoided or reduced. That is in 2024. So no 2030, no 2050, but in 2024. So you can just imagine the challenge for that. There's also the protection of biodiversity. We're setting venues in a temporary way. Tony said, a lot of the venues are existing, but others are temporary. So it's a mandate for us to protect the nature of the places where we'll be holding these temporary venues. Then the circular economy. We are an event, the biggest event in the world. And we like to say that we are facing humanity's biggest challenges, right? Climate change, biodiversity, but also circular economy. So as an event, we start from nothing, we end in nothing. So it's very important that we make this event circular as possible. And the world is 9% circular. We're aiming for 80% circularity for these games. So, quite significant challenge. And last but not least is resilience. Resilience, it's pretty hot in here today. And imagine, we're going to be in summertime in Paris. It's going to be hot. This is just, for us to remind that we need to adapt to, what climate change is going to impose on us. So those are, I would say, the main factors, the main levers from an environmental perspective, and we're applying that to all the different métiers, as we say in French, all the different things that allow us to deliver these games. That is the energy we use, and Tony was saying 100% renewables. Every venue connected to the grid is the first one in the history of the games, thus reducing the amount of temporary electricity that we need. As a reference, London, they needed 4 million liters of diesel for temporary electricity generation. So it's quite a challenge to secure all those grid accesses. Then we have transportation. Tony was saying, every venue accessible by public transportation. The tickets coupled with a public transportation ticket, so everyone's being encouraged to take public transportation. Then we go to food. This is the subject matter of today. Food is a major, major issue, for us and for everyone, I think, for both the climate, but also for all the other challenges that we have to face. And 13 million meals are 13 million excuses to talk about food and how food can be more sustainable. So it was key for us to work on that. Then I said circularity, also of the equipment we will be using, of all the electronics, being sustainable around the digital impact of an event like that. And then last but not least is everything that is going to be sold under the license of Paris 2024, the merchandising that we're working against to make it the most sustainable possible.
Thank you, Georgina. Viviane, I have a question to you because, it's perfect timing. Roland-Garros is about to start on Sunday. And I know that since 2014, the French Tennis Federation has been pioneering this topic around the fight against food waste. Can you tell us a bit more about it? And actually, how do you deal with that during the 3-week tournament, for example?
Yes, indeed. We are involved with a non-profit, Le Chaînon Manquant, which redistributes our unsold food to various associations every day. And we are very proud of it because it's since 2014. And it involves our caterers, our restaurants. It involves FFT employees too. And we are very proud of this operation. The objective is not to have more meal which are redistributed, but nothing to be wasted. We redistributed 4,000 meals last year, and we are happy to have it done.
Okay, thank you. Pierre, I want to talk to you because I know the city of Paris made a commitment to end single-use plastic during the games, and after the games as well, to make sure any sporting event has single-use plastic. Can you iterate and talk about it, please?
I will try to explain you that. Thanks for inviting me and being able to explain what we would like to do with the games. In general, we would like to accelerate the public policy to make the necessary transformation. We know today we are end of May. You can see the hot temperature we have here inside, so we have to create new models, and especially on events. Like every year events like Roland-Garros or the biggest event in the world we have never organized here in France with Olympics and Paralympics games. So we try to push on, I will give you three examples. You spoke about getting out of the single plastic use. So we would like to do it during the game, inside the Parisian territory, after you have other sites, but inside we would like to have an experience for athletes, Olympics family and spectators without plastics. Okay. That's a key point. But behind that, we are actually in all the public policy of the city of Paris try to ban how to say that is policy on plastics, to change the market, to try to create new organization, and it's a lot of work for a big city like Paris. And we try to push it and go quicker and faster to be able to be ready on 2024. So it's hard work, but that's a good first example. The second is about the river Seine. As you know, we will make the swimming and triathlon and paratriathlon in the Seine in 2024. That's our key point, but this is for the legacy after and for being able to create a specific place where we can swim after the Olympics starting 2025 probably, and go for everyone here after a hot day like today to being able to go in the center of Paris and having a quick swim. And another example we have, and we work a lot with all Paris 2024 and its partner, and our everyday partners, is to go and increase the circular economy. Viviane and Georgina explained that, so we work on that to create a new model. That's our goal with the Olympics and Paralympics, but with all our actors we have every year. Roland-Garros is one of the most famous for sure, but we have a lot of others, and we have to create a new model, and we are really happy to be helped by the organization of Paris 2024 for this goal.
Thank you for your leadership on this. Viviane, talking about circular economy, I know it's a key topic as part of your environmental strategy. Can you tell us more about it, and what are the concrete actions that you take in place?
Yes, we try to work on circularity in every operation, and we also want to be a laboratory. So we have the chance to be a recurrent event. So it helps to improve on this year, for example, we will test reusable food packaging for spectators in one restaurant, and to see what we are able to do and to have the majority of restaurants by 2024 able to provide reusable food packaging. We work on eco-cups. That's I think it's the list. We work on the fact of collecting water, rainwater or shower players' water, to reuse it in the toilets. So circularity is part of our organization. We have suppliers who help us, partners too. So a challenge, yes, but it's easier when you are every year experiencing that way.
That's true. Georgina, coming to Paris 2024, I mean, you want to become the first event in line with the Paris Agreement, as you said earlier. what does it mean exactly? How can you describe a bit in more details how is that possible?
Well, aligning to the Paris Agreement, respecting it, it's a race. It's a race for zero, right? But it's a race that we will only win when everybody crosses the line, right? That's sort of the rule of the game. So for us, as I said, it's been since the onset, since the creation of Paris 2024 as a concept, when the bid was created. It was at the time of the Paris Agreement, so it was natural that our project would be aligned with this challenge. So on a day-to-day basis, what does it mean for us? Well, it meant a series of choices, very early onset choices, to avoid the carbon emissions. When we say we're going to emit less than half of the previous games, that means, we had to make decisions very early on, not to build, for example, to use existing or temporary infrastructure, 95% of our needs covered by that. So that helped us attain a certain level from the design of the games. Same thing with the access by metro, or by public transportation. But then there's one, for example, one item that we decided to include in this scope 3 level, which is the spectators. We're including the impact of spectators coming to Paris, which is something we don't necessarily have a hand on. We can advise, we can encourage, a lot of things we can do, but still, spectators weigh a quarter of our carbon footprint, right? So it's quite a lot, right? Then on the little bit we're constructing, which is, what Solidaire is doing it, but it's the village or the aquatic center, it's low carbon constructions. There was a decision to do that. There was a conscious decision to get projects to be low carbon. And we are applying it to every single bit of the game's delivery. So we've given ourselves objectives like allowances on carbon by sector. So for example, on food, and I know Philippe is here, those who are responsible for delivering the food, they have a carbon objective not to surpass. And this is why we are comfortable to say today that our meals will have half of the carbon footprint of an average French meal. So this is how you go from, I would say, more a stratospheric or strategic view, which is we want this game to be aligned with the Paris Agreement, to the very concrete example of the burger that Tony was sharing with you. It's all the way down to the burger or to the meal that 13 million events are going to happen in Paris in 2024. So, that's the road.
Thank you. Coming to you, Pierre, from a city perspective, what does it mean? How can you help Paris 2024 to be aligned with the Paris Agreement?
We try to help all together. We are a team in that objective, but what I would like to say is, for making a little play word, is we would like to change the sports model organization events now, because it's in 2 years, it's close, really close, it's going to be really faster, and we want to be the new kind of sports model organization. The biggest one, as I said, but it could be smallest or different sports or model organization. So here we have a really opportunity to show the change we need now. So that's a key point. And I think, as Georgina said, we are on this way since the bid we did all together, and that's one of the reasons why we would like to go again and run for the Olympics and Paralympics after some lose we had in the organization. But we see all together that opportunity to accelerate the ecological transformation we need. So we are working a lot all together, the city of Paris and all the person here with the team of Paris 2024, because when we think to organize something, mobility, transport, food, spectator experience, we think firstly on the footprint, I would say that
Carbon
in English.
footprint.
Of the footprint. So we changed that, and now all the events in Paris will have this kind of reflection, and that's massive for us because it's really changing the mind of everyone, and we need to build new models. Because you know, for example, for all the running session race in Paris, you had a model, and we need to create another one now. For example, with the water, that's a key point. But so we have to move all together, and we are doing it with Paris 2024 for this big event, the biggest one we never organized in France, and that's really enjoy. I'm really excited of that.
It's a good opportunity in the end. Cool. We're about to finish, but I have a last question because the next session is around athletes. And all of you, of course, are engaging with athletes. So, I mean, Viviane, first to you, how do you engage with tennis players to really help to spread your message and to also accelerate this transformation?
Yes, we always can count on them to help us with messages. They participated last year to a challenge for the planet with us. This year, they will participate to our operation of reusable water bottles. They deliver messages for our spectators, and we have a new tournament director with Amélie Mauresmo, who is a former athlete and very involved in sustainability. So it helps a lot.
Of course. Georgina, to you.
Well, I'll say in 3 words, athletes inspired us, right? A lot. Their drive, their willingness to, succeed against all odds and go after that medal. I mean, they inspired us a lot. They nurture us because we are asking regularly athletes, what do you want? What do you want to meet in Paris? What do you want the Paris Games to look like? How can we actually deliver your expectations? And I would say they are also our best ambassadors. Frankly speaking, if I say something, about climate change, well, maybe 1, 2 people are going to care. But if those folks say something about climate change or about circularity or about whatever we're talking about here, that's a massive impact. So, as I said, inspire, nurture, and being our best ambassadors.
I agree. Pierre, I know at the City of Paris you started this casual project with supporting 50 athletes on the road, on the journey to Paris 24. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, we try to find a way to support our local athletes.
So Parisian athletes?
Parisian athletes, yeah. Who are in our clubs, for example, and we try to help them because sometimes we know, and I know that because I did, it's harder to be an athlete in a big city when it's difficult to move sometimes to find a place to train and things like that. So we try to help them, and why we did that, well, for being able to push our French medals and participation for Paris 2024 and local athletes, but secondly, because sports are creating models, and you can follow your models. That's easier, as Georgina said before. So we want to push that because some of these athletes are really have a nice performance, but they have all a story, and we are working on the story to be followed by all the people liking the sport they represent. So we are really happy with that choice, and we try to push them. And I think the sports have to make a key place in the change, climate change. So I push all the athletes now, because I'm an old one, but I told the actual athletes to be part of this battle, because we don't have a lot of time. So we have to go all together and quickly now for change.
Thank you, Pierre. We're going to hear some nice stories with the athletes of the next panel. So thank you, everyone. This is the end of the first panel. Thank you, Viviane. Thank you, Georgina. And thank you, Pierre.